Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV, y'all. And today, hanging out with the winners. I'm a winner, and the people that are in my life right now, they're winners, right? After I read Reality Transurfing and I started to understand what this means exactly, that I am influenced by energies, right? Like attracts like. I am influenced by frequency. And in keeping company that's resonating at a higher level than me, keeping company that has figured out solutions to things that I'm currently challenged by, this is how I'm going to evolve. This is how I am evolving. And in me really getting into cleaning my layer of reality, because that's really what this is about, looking at the people in your life and understanding, is this good for me or is this bad for me? And knowing that thought quality and frequency and actions that you're seeing of other people are going to help you in your own personal trajectory just as much as keeping lower nature company is going to keep you resonating in a place where you do not excel, right? You can decel, is that a word? Or stay low. So anyway, I'm going to read a little bit from this book today. I know I've been referencing this one a lot lately. This is like the Bible of dropping importance, Dr. David Hawkins. This entire book is about lowering importance levels. And this topic is actually given in the apathy and depression chapter. It's titled The Company We Keep. And it is really eye-opening when you can start to see how your own evolution as a human sort of correlates to who you have allowed and been in contact with in your life. It is going to be extremely challenging for you to evolve as a human if you are hanging around people that are not looking to evolve themselves, right? So I'm going to get into all that in a moment. First, remember to like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me to enter my daily giveaway for my reprogramming stickers. Reality 2.0 on Teachable down below. Check it out, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, reality_transurfing, and join us on Facebook, International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. So, hanging out with the winners. I want to say from my own personal experience, I actually thought at a certain time in my life that I wanted to be friends with or be in relationships with people that were also struggling with the same things as me, because that was like comforting to me. I remember once I had a boyfriend that also had a very dysfunctional childhood, and I found that very comforting at the time. Oh, he grew up in a very dysfunctional household too. That's so comforting. But what I really needed was, and that relationship ended up being really not a very good one, because we were both still struggling with the same thing, right? And neither one of us could really help each other, and neither one of us was going to move out of that place, because there wasn't anything to magnetize our movement upward. So this is kind of how I see it now, is the people in my life, the high quality people, the company that I keep, hanging out with the winners, being in contact with people like Dr. Salah Al-Rashad and Vadim Zeland and people that invite me onto their podcasts to do interviews that are, in my opinion, highly evolved people. Dan Manjana, all the moderators in the Facebook group that help me moderate the channel, my friends now, right? These are people that I view in certain ways as being a little bit higher than me in certain areas. And I feel like I'm a magnet to them, but I have to rise up to sort of meet them, if you will. Not meet them, but they're maybe a little bit ahead of me in certain ways. And it's just a natural evolution for me to adhere to those higher qualities that I have set the intention to adhere to, right? I want to evolve in my relationships. I want to evolve in my professional trajectory. I want to evolve in my level of creation. So I keep people around me that I feel have done just that. And I can see what they're doing. I can hear their train of thought, right? What words they speak. I can feel their resonating frequency. And it helps me to move on up. So Dr. David Hawkins refers to this as hanging out with the winners. And again, I didn't quite understand how I was sort of cutting myself off at the knees pre-reality transurfing by choosing people that were challenged by the same things that I was challenged by. So I'm going to get into some points here. I quickly want to read this little paragraph here that sort of sums it up, titled "The Company We Keep." Another valuable technique for getting out of apathy, depression, and situations which are predominantly being run by the thought, "I can't," is to choose to be with other persons who have resolved the problem with which we struggle. This is one of the great powers of self-help groups. When we are in a negative state, we have given a lot of energy to negative thought forms, and the positive thought forms are weak. Those who are in a higher vibration are free of the energy from their negative thoughts and have energized positive thought forms. Merely to be in their presence is beneficial. In some self-help groups, this is called hanging out with the winners. The benefit here is on the psychic level of consciousness, and there is a transfer of positive energy and relighting of one's own latent positive thought forms. In some self-help groups, this is called getting it by osmosis. It is not necessary to know how it happens, but merely that it does happen. Okay, he actually goes into an example of people that have really strong intuitive abilities or abilities to sense auras, that you take one of these people that have these really strong intuitions and sense auras and energy and all this stuff, and you put that person in a social setting, that the others around them will start to gain these same intuitions and abilities. So like he says, it's not exactly necessary to understand the how, that's how it's working, just to know that it absolutely does work like that. So energies are transferable. If you are around negative people, those negative energies are going to transfer onto if you like it or not. And it doesn't matter how strong your transurfing practice is or how much you have this stuff down. As Matthew Barnes said, you can't really transurf a relationship. It takes a lot of energy. And this is obviously we can transurf professional things and, casual friendships. But what he's implying there is that for the real meaningful relationships, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's extremely negative, it is going to be beyond challenging for you to transurf that relationship permanently, right? That the energy is so strong from the other person that it's probably time to use these concepts to move out of that layer of reality and towards a layer of reality where you're not needing to consistently try to transurf that other person, right? Because again, energies are so tangible that it's not efficient. It's not an efficient way to live. So sort of matching yourself up with what it is that you want to become, who you want to become, what it is you want to do, what it is you want to have, and choosing people that have already worked out the solutions to those same equations that you are seeking answers for. So a couple of points here. One, look up to the company you keep. Now, this is kind of like a duh statement, right? Duh. But we oftentimes fall into relationships where the thing starts to devolve and degrade, and before we know it, we're not in a relationship where we respect the other person or want what it is that they have, right? So this is more about you getting yourself into healthy relationships where, again, the person has more of what it is that you want rather than you trying to pull someone up just to meet you at level ground, right? Which is where that energetic loss comes from. And this all happens kind of just automatically. I've been in a number of dysfunctional relationships where I'm just constantly like, come on, you gotta think more positively. Come on. And it's in me trying to bring that other person up that my energy levels go down a little bit and I don't end up thriving simply because I'm trying to save somebody else. So this is more about you choosing someone that is going to help you move upward and isn't going to cost you anything energetically from trying to balance out whatever imbalance there is energetically within the relationship, if that makes sense. So look up to the company you keep. 2, don't keep company challenged by the same things as you. So are you in a dysfunctional relationship and your best girlfriend is also in a dysfunctional relationship? And when you guys get on the phone together, all you do is talk about how dysfunctional your relationship is, your relationships are, right? Or maybe you're challenged professionally and you're hanging out with a group of people that are all challenged professionally as well. This is taking yourself and inserting yourself into a social circle or a friendship where that person has figured out some of the things that you're looking to figure out yourself. So again, don't keep company challenged by the same things as you. 3, how can you clean up your lair? So I know this is like, I'm saying it like it's so easy. Oh, you just clean it up. And this is big stuff, right? Especially if it's a romantic long-term relationship that's keeping you down. It's going to be a massive move to cycle out of that. Long friendships, maybe it's family members that have been toxic for an extended period of time. This is really about you asking yourself which relationships are serving you and which ones are not serving you any longer, and starting the process of at least seeing it from that new perspective. How has ill company kept you stuck? So I'm going to give you a quick little story of something personal that happened to me that I caught very quickly, and I realized this is not the road that I want to go down. So when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I had a problem with sleeping pills. I needed a sleeping pill every single night to go to sleep. And I started to realize that the dependency was more than I could get over on my own. So I actually decided to go to AA. And for about 5 years, I quit everything. I didn't take sleeping pills, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't drink anything. I went completely stone cold sober. And for the first probably 6 months of that, I went to AA. And at first it helped me. I heard of people challenged by dependency issues in their own lives. I got some tools to help me get through the hard times. But very quickly, I realized that that whole AA scene, especially in Los Angeles, was quite toxic. And it was what I consider now to be ill company. So I would go to these meetings and everyone seemed to be trying to one-up each other and how shitty of a person they were when they were drunk or high, right? And it was like this weird thing where someone would share and they'd be like, oh yeah, well, I was such a piece of shit that I stole from my mom and I wrecked my girlfriend's car and I blah, blah, blah. And then the next person would go and it would almost be like they wanted to be an even bigger piece of shit than the piece of shit that just told his story, right? And I'm sitting back watching this and I'm like, okay, you guys are competing to see who's like king of the losers here. Like, why would this is really what we want to collectively resonate, was who was shittier and who lived in a dumpster longer. I mean, at a certain point I was just like, enough. And when I decided to remove myself from AA, somebody asked me, why are you doing this? And I said, you know what? Because when I'm not coming to AA, I feel completely fine. When I come to AA, I feel like I want to drink. Like it was making me feel as though I was still resonating and stuck in that place. And when I removed myself, I wasn't challenged by any of the dependency issues anymore. I didn't feel like I wanted to do it. I actually extracted myself from the mindset, and I spent the next 5 years just really embracing sobriety, and it was a very beautiful and very rewarding time in my life. So I saw that company, that ill company, as being detrimental to my evolution as a person. And I called it then, and obviously when I found transurfing, I was like, oh my God, that was a really gross pendulum that was resonating at a very low frequency, and I'm very glad that I extracted myself from it. Now, AA has done a tremendous amount of good for a lot of people in my life, including me initially. Now, my relationship to it was a little bit different. I realized I needed to pull myself out. I'm not saying that for anybody that is currently involved in AA, and I'm definitely not advocating against it. All I'm saying is check your company and make certain that they are not keeping you ill by proxy, right? This is keeping ill company, and you're just going to stay at that level. What we want to do as transurfers is aspire to climb to places that we see people a couple steps ahead of us and sort of mimicking what they're doing. And this is really what I'm doing right now. Somebody that I've grown very close to, that I have really just deeply, I'm deeply grateful for this friendship, is Dr. Salah Al-Rashad. And I see what he's doing, and I see his actions, his energy, how he's evolved in certain parts of his life. And I don't have an immense amount of contact with him, it's pretty casual. I do seminars for him here and there, and we talk once in a while, but I pay attention to those thoughts expressed, his actions, his frequency, and then I just mimic that, right? He's a couple steps ahead of me, well, a number of steps, and that's who I aspire to be like, not people that are still challenged that aren't going anywhere in their realities, right? I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but this is how I clean up my layer of reality, and this is how I hang out with the winners and what it does for me, right? And why choosing your company is so incredibly valuable. I heard the other day that you are an average of your 5 closest companions. So who are your 5 closest companions? Average that all out, or the 5 people that you're in closest contact with. Average it all out, and that's where you are, right? So up your average and up yourself. That's kind of where it's at, right? Let me know what you think of this video. Like it, comment, join us on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.